Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Kings of Tomorrow. My name is Kristofer Stubbs, along with my co-hosts, Mr. Jamaal Gosa and Mr. Canaan, Reid. In today's edition of Kings of Tomorrow, we're going to be covering the topic of professionalism. We're going to be talking about what it is, why it's important, and how it can benefit you in life and on the long run. Mr. Gosa?
So, the definition of professionalism is to conduct, aim, or qualities that categorize or mark a profession. So what do you guys feel about the definition of professionalism? And then I'll have some examples of what they discuss. So I'll start with you first, since you two.
Well, I ain't gonna break down the definition. You just get it, 'cause that was
deep. I was like, what was it?
Yeah, you would have had to do that over for me. But I guess professionalism to me is just knowing how to conduct oneself in a work manner, in a any type of setting, but where you need to show that type of professionalism. I'm a little bit younger, so I'm gonna give it to you guys to let you guys really shed some light on me and help me out. What professionalism really is?
Well, I would say professionalism is really centered around just basically of where you are and knowing time and place. A lot of times people think of professionalism as a way that you have to act, but I think it's more about understanding how you may be perceived, even though you're not fully aware of what you're doing. Like, you just have to be aware of how people can perceive you from just observing you. So, for example, if I walked into work with a tank top on, I got my tattoos all showing, and I'm in education trying to lecture and teach. Now, if I'm coming to talk about art or sports, now that might be appropriate. But if I'm, coming and speaking in front of a large audience, it's probably not the best approach, just because it may be perceived a certain way. You don't want that to distract from the actual message you're trying to give.
For me, I think all of these are important. I think poise is one, because you're gonna face adversity, and how you kind of respond to this adversity is gonna show like you're poised. And being a professional, you have to be able to learn how to deal with adversity and learn how to take criticism. Because I think criticism now, no one wants to look wrong or dumb, and it's like, I don't want to take this as you are coming at me, for lack of better words, but I need to be able to grow from this. And these are words that's trying to encourage me to perform better and do better. And if my boss is holding me accountable, then I have to be reliable, which is another word on here, and present what I'm trying to do. So I think that's important. So I'll go to the next question.
Before you even go to the next person,
I had
question.
something to say too. I was like,
hey, maintaining your pose or poise. If a great example of a person who maintains their poise no matter what happens is Carmelo Anthony. He shows extreme poise. His name's been drugged through the dirt. He's been dealt, if in a sense, he's been dealt with unprofessionally. In the media with teams, and he showed nothing but professionalism, saying he loves the organizations, regardless. And you'll never know how Carmelo Anthony really feels about them, because he does not show, his frustrations. He always holds his poise, and I think that's a real sign of professionalism.
And what I wanted to speak on what Jamaal stated about criticism. Today we live in a day of social media, and a lot of times people feel that with them criticizing others or talking bad about others in social media, that it's just something funny, especially younger people, because they're not understanding the impact it's going to have. If I'm an employer, I'm absolutely going all through your social media, because that's going to tell me all about who you are and whether or not you know how to conduct yourself as a professional. So be sure that as you're looking online and people are talking about you, sometimes you just got to let it go, because if you respond negatively or in some way and say some things that may be perceived as detrimental, that may negatively affect you long term. Even though right now you just think it's funny, it can really have a serious impact on you long term in a negative way.
And I think that leads to a question that's not on here, but I'm thinking, what is proper phone etiquette? What is proper phone etiquette and social media etiquette? As we're young, trying to figure out what's going on, and we think what we see is real, and then fake news is a whole nother topic that we could talk about.
Yeah.
So what is phone etiquette and social media etiquette you think is required in today's society?
Phone etiquette number one is first say hello. How you doing? Introduce yourself. Second, let the person talk. If the person, I know a lot of principals, they're scattered with what they're saying, but you just have to give them the chance to talk. Okay, so talk. You're saying this, and then when they're done talking, okay, I think you meant this. And then you get a clear understanding of what the principal wanted or whatever whoever you're staffing in turn. For me personally. And then I always end the conversation with it was nice to talk to you. Thanks for speaking with me. Just show them some type of gratitude towards, them taking time out of their day to speak with me, regardless of if they needed my help or I needed their help.
Right. And I'll just now speak on the social media etiquette in a positive way. So I know I just spoke about it negatively affecting you, but utilizing your social media in regards to professionalism can have a huge impact on you long term. If you're able to distribute your knowledge, your skill set, whatever the case may be, whatever you love, onto social media and doing it over a long period of time, your long term, it's going to be beneficial for you. Because I'm telling you this right now, within the next 20 years or so, social media is going to be everything. There's going to be nothing else people are going to be doing. Everything's going to be live, everything's going to be instant, and it's all going to be on social media. So as you're thinking about what you're doing right now with your social media, do know it's going to have some major impacts on you. 3 years from now, 5 years, 10, 20. Be very careful with what you're posting on social media. I know it might be fun and exciting right now, but for someone who actually has worked in offices and reviewed resumes, I promise you, I don't care if it is they have the best stuff on paper. I don't care how good it looks. I'm like, okay, what's their name? Google, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat. I'm going through everything. So be sure that you stay very professional on your social media. And I'm not saying don't have fun, but what I'm saying is understand the impact it's going to have on you long term.
And I think it's just maintaining a balance and understanding what that balance is. I think one thing that stuck with me was a teacher told me, he's like, yeah, you can delete these photos, but they're already out there. Meaning these don't go anywhere. They're still in someone's file somewhere. They might not be in your phone and they might not be able to access them anymore, but they're out there. Somebody might have screenshotted it, which screenshot has changed society in so many different ways.
For sure.
And that's a different conversation. But I think that with phone etiquette and social media etiquette, it's more like respecting yourself and knowing, it goes back to last week, the respect topic where I know if my mom seen my page, she will give me that look, what are you doing? Or what is this? Because I know what's appropriate and what's not appropriate in any setting. But I want to have fun with social media, and that's what it's for. But there has to be a balance in how you want to have that image out for you. So that leads into another question, and I think we do this as professionals. What is code switching, and why is it important, and where is it appropriate? So we can break down the first one. What is code switching to you, and why is it important to you? And then we'll go.
So I'm gonna let Mr. Stubbs take the code switching one.
Well, code switching is similar to what we've been discussing this entire time, and that is really understanding time and place. And a lot of that comes from even phone etiquette, as we spoke about, right? If I'm talking with my homeboys, I'm like, yo, what up, bro? Yeah. All right, yeah, that's a bet. All right, bro, yeah. Click, that's me and my friend. But if I'm speaking to someone that's in a business professional setting, it might be, hi, hello, this is Kristofer Stubbs. How may I help you? Yes. Oh, absolutely. Oh, for sure, yes. All right, great talking to you. Okay, goodbye, click. Total difference. Yes, it is. I'm speaking the same words, but it's to my audience. It's understanding who my audience is and what the perception is going to be and how are they going to perceive that. Because that person may not know me. They may not be understanding of my culture and how we speak, and they may be offended by the way I said hello, what up, bro? I might just say it like that. And it's just knowing time and place. You got to know when and where you are. And that's the biggest thing with code switching for me.
I'm going to get to you, but I want to add to that. So what do you do when you see a student in the hallway and like what is your interaction, and you first meeting this student for the first time, like how does that code switch grow into like y'all building that relationship?
Well, that depends. It depends a lot on, unfortunately, I mean, yes, we all judge and perceive people when we first see them. Yeah. So if I see a young African-American male student, I might roll up to him like, what's up, bro? Hey, how you doing, man? My name is Mr. Stubbs. What's your name? Okay, all right, man. Well, hey, man, I don't think I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be in class right now. You think we want to, so I'm talking to him professionally, but I'm adding in just a little bit of, of our culture and the way that we speak to each other. Just a few little drops of it. So it just really depends. You got to know who you're talking to. It's really about understanding your audience and understanding your environment. Mm-hmm. So, and knowing when and where to conduct yourself, or how to conduct yourself, I should say.
And with that, we'll get to you. And with that, is that still considered like professional? Because that would be like on a borderline where it seems like it's more friending. And I've had situations where they seem like I was being this person's friend more than their.
For sure, absolutely. No, I think you bring up a good point, and that's where personality comes in, and having your own personal touch. Me personally, I'm more of a family-oriented, wanting to bring show you that, hey, one, I'm showing you respect. Yeah. I've showed you respect. I introduced myself first, yes. And I'm extending my hand. Okay, little history fact: the handshake started from people would meet each other, and to show that they did not have a weapon, they would extend their hand and have it open. So that's where the handshake comes from. It's a sign of, I mean no harm. I'm here. Okay, so little things like that and understanding that, but then because it's in my culture where we don't usually meet each other and shake like that. We, bam, bam, we bring it in, we bye, my guy, all that good stuff. So it's just understanding who your audience is, where you're at, what's your environment, and just balancing between, toting that line of professional and not professional. You have to just give it your own little spin to it. Everybody approaches things differently, and that's just my personal approach to it.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So with the work that you do, how does code switching work in your day-to-day, and how do you demonstrate, and why is it important that you still continue to do code
So I wanted Mr. Stubbs to talk about it first, because I'm going to tell y'all straight up, I struggle with this all the time. I struggle with code switching, keeping it professional at some points. Okay. So, a little honesty there, but in my everyday work, it actually helped me out just showing professionalism, because then it allowed me to code switch. As you guys talked about before, you're going to meet someone and they're going to become professional. You're going to extend them that professional courtesy. But however, after you have acted professional for a point in time, you are then allowed to code switch, which is what I really wanted to talk about. So we can use that. Dr. Hill, for example. When I first met Dr. Hill, hey, Dr. Hill, how you doing? Canaan, I do this, that, and the third. We start talking more and more, and it was professional. But then if I see her now, it's Dr. Hill, hey, how you doing? Come give me a hug. Like, yeah, I'm doing good, So students, who's a little bit discouraged about acting professional or, showing professionalism, it's difficult, and code switching is going to be the hardest thing to do, especially when you're young. Coming into HR, I'm like, yo, what's up? How y'all doing? Trying to show a little bit of flavor and understanding that that's not professional. So you're going to struggle with it, but if you act professionally for so long, you will be able to code switch, and it's going to be amazing.
And can I make this quick point too? Yeah. Because you make a good point. I want to just make sure everyone understands this. You should you should always lead with professionalism first. Yes, I was just thinking right now, what if I went to go apply for a job at like a record label or something, like a hip hop record label. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, these are people, these are my guys, blah, blah, blah. I'm not gonna walk in when they first meet me like, oh, what up, bro? Like, right. I'm just like, hey, how you doing? My name's Chris Stubbs. Because until they show that, no, this isn't that kind of, oh, okay, I wasn't sure, because I would rather lead with professionalism first than just kind of just giving whatever, because you just need to know where you are and who you are, and you just always want to give a good first impression. And the handshake is so important. There was just a student the other day. They had an interview, and I said, have you ever had an interview before? So we did a quick tutorial about walking in and introducing yourself. Hi, my name is Chris Stubbs. Nice to meet you. I said, it's going to make such a huge difference. I said, because I guarantee you, the other students that came to do the other interview, I guarantee you they probably didn't do that. It's just going to set you apart so much. So just a simple handshake can have a huge impact. And it's so small, but it's so huge in regards to how to impact you long term.
I think code switching breaks barriers, where it's like I have a different understanding and respect for you because now we've connected on this level where I feel like I can kind of trust you.
Yeah,
now it's like,
sure.
And we kind of could open up more as a professional. Sometimes we are not uptight, but I think we're professional. We're in work mode.
Yeah.
So then the code switching adds to more of the personal relationship building aspect of work mode. And I think while y'all were talking, I was thinking of how this code switching is set. Like a teacher can set the environment for the code switches as well. Like the first week of school, where this is the classroom, this is the environment that we're in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm establishing this professionalism, but then we can code switch throughout the year.
Oh, yes.
But we're not going to do that early.
Right.
And I think that has to establish
The foundation.
that foundation where it's like it's okay to code switch, but know when and where to do it. And I think that's
That's
one of the
part
questions.
of the struggle.
Exactly. And that's the balance that we all have to continue to work on, because it's a balance of getting both, incorporating things into your lecture. Like you can even incorporate hip hop to your lecture to where like that's a complete different code switch of the language that we use in the classroom in language arts. So I was just thinking of things like that, which leads me to another question, which is, what are some soft skills you see in a school setting and or work setting? Soft skills. And soft skills could be listening, nonverbal, their presentation, body language, and things of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, I would think, you hit the nail on the head with listening, okay? A lot of students that I work with, and I completely understand it, right? Because I was that same age myself at one point, where you're like, hey, I got these ideas and these thoughts, but you'd be surprised on how much you can learn and just from listening. You can't talk and listen at the same time. And when you have adults or your elders that are around you, I love hanging around older people. I love it. Because I just learned so many things that when they were 19, 60, what was going on, whatever. Yeah. But it's relating things and I'm learning different things. And so that's one, listening. But when you're listening, the next thing you want to do is ask questions. The more questions you ask, the more, like, you got to think about it. Somebody's like, oh, you really care about what I'm saying right now. So they're just sitting there in their minds like, okay, this person's very interested in what I'm speaking of. You'd be surprised on how far asking good questions will take you. Please, if there's one thing that you leave here with, listen and ask those questions. Like if your teachers, with your parents, family members, you'll be shocked. They're gonna be like, you know what? I really like that Chris. He asked some really good questions. And it's also showing that you're able to listen with intent. So I think that's one of the biggest ones. Listening, two of the biggest ones, I should say. Listening and asking questions.
I would say dressing, and I would also say a firm handshake. But definitely dressing, that's one of the most important things when showing professionalism. Just know how to dress for certain occasions. Sneakers aren't, as much as I'm a sneakerhead, I collect shoes.
Too.
I got about over 80 pairs of sneaks. That's just sneakers.
Yep.
So I understand, you want to throw on your nice shoes, but you just have to learn how to dress, for certain occasions. And that's just is what it is.
Time and place.
I think with dress, it's like an unspoken code, and I think someone that's well dressed, it speaks differently. Like I don't know what if a person's dressed like nice and clean, I don't know where they're going, but they got that job. You know what I mean? And that goes into their demeanor and like how people will receive you. I remember watching a YouTube video. It was a guy pretending to be homeless on the ground, and he had like sweatpants on, a hoodie, just asking for change, and people just continued to walk by, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. But then he had it was another thing that probably like 20 minutes later, he switched into a suit and he's asking for change. People went up to him like, are you okay? Like he had like at least 20 to 50 people come up to him just because he was dressed. It's the same guy acting differently, but the way he was dressed spoke differently to people, and they felt more concerned that he's okay. Like he's established, but something's wrong. And I think that speaks into some soft skills that people like might not take in consideration where that means something. And I think listening was great, the point that you made, because a lot of students, I feel, and I'm bringing back to students, don't listen. And they think they know all the answers. And it goes back to respect. And listening can take you so far. And it's just one of those things that isn't like a big skill, but it's just being engaged in that moment. And you might not even get something from it. But I know I gave you enough respect that I listened to everything you said, where I was able to rebuttal something in a response. And I think students now, they lack conversation skills. In so many ways. And I think because you can't listen, it's like, you heard what I said? Wait, what'd you say?
Right.
And then I gotta repeat myself, and then it's like the frustration comes, and they're like, oh, you don't listen, man. And I think that goes back to the respect factor.
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
Different behaviors, how all that stuff kind of work its way back. Do you guys have anything y'all want to add about professionalism, or anything that you think we haven't touched on that is important today?
No, but I'll leave y'all with this quote: learn to listen, listen to learn. My coach used to tell me that all the time.
What does that mean to you?
What's it mean to me? Learn to listen. I have to learn to listen. You know, you have to, all right, coach is talking or teacher's talking. All right, I'm listening. And then learn to listen, listen to learn. I'm listening to your message so that I can learn, so that I can become a better person. So one, I have to teach myself how to listen. And then two, I actually have to listen so that I can learn. So that's what that quote means to me.
Gotcha. And I would say my final words would be just to understand that there's a game being played out here, okay? And what we're giving you are some of the moves, okay? Imagine this was a basketball game. We just taught you how to dribble with your right hand, how to do a bounce pass, and how to shoot your free throws, okay? As a game, because at the end of the day, there's players. We're all players in this game, but the end goal is to win the game. So what we're providing you are just these strategies, tips that can just help you be successful in winning this game, whether it's you going to go get a job, whether it's you even starting your own business. Because even if you have your own business, you're still going to have to interact with people. And you need to understand these strategies and tips that will help you be successful in those endeavors.
I'm thinking about what age was I when I learned this. And I think when you guys were talking, I'm like, what age did we learn this? Because this respect was always taught, but professionalism wasn't until a different setting. And now I'm just like, what age did I learn? I'm thinking maybe
Today age, I keep learning.
And that's true, continuous improvement. You never stop learning. Every experience, every day, every interaction is a learning experience. But that's why you have to be very observant and keep your ears open, because as long as you're watching, paying attention and listening, you're bound to learn. But if you're always talking, you're just doing you're going to miss a lot. You're going to miss a lot of those nuggets. So you just got to listen, man. Pay attention.
And my last bar is, and if you're zoned out and you're not able to listen, meaning like from distractions, and distractions can be social media, music can be a distraction.
Anything.
You're gonna miss out on opportunities. So,
For sure.
Do you want to close with this thought?
Yeah. Oh.
Your thought? I have nothing.
So
else to
yeah,
close
I
with.
mean, I guess that's it for this edition of Kings of Tomorrow. We cover professionalism, a lot of good nuggets for you. Hopefully you got something out of it. And hey, we'll see you on the next one, all right?
See y'all next Wednesday.
You threw everything off.